Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we head into Game 3 for the knockout stage of Day 2 for the Garena Premier League 2017 summer season. Of course, before anything else, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves as your casters, Arctic at Service Fam, and of course, with me is Omi, and my oh my, what an interesting predicament we're in right now, as we are actually at match point. We're in Young Generation. The second seed of Vietnam is just one win away from securing their slot to the next stage of this knockout. But of course, looks like we'll be heading straight into the drafting for Young Generation and Team Manila Eagles.
We can see the Team Manila Eagles banning out Elise and Rek'Sai. Great early game junglers, and with that Rek'Sai ult might be a vulnerable target if ever si Marquis. And as for YG, again with that Jarvan pick, really strong last game, might be a replay of game 2, but I really do hope that JLC picks a carry for this game.
Hopefully. I mean, I could feel everybody that, come on TME, just, it's the strategy that worked for him during the finals here in the Philippines. So I know a lot of people have been kind of hoping that that will be the case, but we'll just have to see if finally Team Manila Eagles will be giving JLC that opportunity, or if they're just going to try to stick with what is in the meta right now. It's kind of like peer pressure in a way.
Yeah.
Wherein the current meta is that peer pressure that Team Manila Eagles is dealing with right now.
You have to adjust to win.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you want to pull off all the stops right now because this is their last chance, because if they do lose, you know,
it's elimination time.
The
for
dream
them.
ends
Yeah,
for
the
Worlds
dream
right there.
ends.
But of course, for Young Generation, if they win this, it's a different story wherein the dream is pretty much alive, where it could bring glory to Vietnam and follow in the steps of their own first seed, the Gigabyte Marines.
And for YG, it's a Rakan and Saya combo in the bot lane. And looking at the as of now, Jarvan, Saya, and Rakan will be a lot of engage and actually disengage as well if ever with that flag and drag combo outside. But with Rakan's added range and E with Saya, it might mean a longer engage tool for YG. And TSM was pulling this off before, where Afromove flashed into 3 people together with that charm and knockup. Might be that case for YG this game. And for TME, another Syndra pick for Trevor. Trevor was actually good with Syndra in the first game, but then again, the macro skills of YG just stomped the macro game of TME first game, actually the second game as well.
So looking at the bans here for the second rotation, a lot of heavy emphasis coming in from Team Manila Eagles, banning out Naol from 2 champions of his proficiency. Of course, that is the Orianna and the LeBlanc. Tristana and Kog'Maw as well going to be taken away from Margie here in this case, but looks like he will content himself with the Caitlyn, which is another one of those go-to picks, most especially when you're up against Asaya and you have these 2 champions kind of banned off the board from your...
Yeah, and looking at the bans of YG, it's a smart choice to ban Tristana and Kog'Maw out, knowing that they already picked their AD carry. And now that Caitlyn is indeed nerfed with that W, her traps deal significantly less damage now. I'm not quite sure if the Caitlyn is a great pick for Marquis, but then again, their composition as of now with the Lulu Protect and the Sejuani Engage, it might be a kind of good pick for TME, but we can see that YG as of now, I'm in favor of YG's composition looking at their team fight and disengage tool. But for poking and I guess protection, we have TME with that traps and Lulu. And we're just putting all hopes in Lulu to protect the carries of TME.
Can I just talk about this pick real quick? Finally! It's not a Maokai.
Prayer answered.
It's not... What did he use during the first game again? It's not
it's a Shen. It's a Shen
not
in
a
the
Shen.
first game.
It's a Jace.
Finally. The Dustblade Jace. We can remember at the Rampage of Finals of the Philippines, JLC's Jace was popping off with that Dustblade plays. So I hope we'll be able to see one of those Dustblade plays right now at this game. And I'm just really excited to finally see our Lord and TME's Lord and Savior JLC.
I'm ready. I'm kind of interested to see if we'll finally be seeing the dark JLC that was unleashed during Rampage 2017 here in the Philippines. But talking about Young Generation's composition though, I mean, going into this Game 3, they're really in it to win it. I'm loving the overall draft, like you did mention. There's a good amount of engage as well as disengage if ever things might go south for Young Generation. So we'll just have to see again. I feel like for the early game, I'm expecting it to go very even once again. Mid game and late game is where things will get really shaky. So
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
it's
worried.
a Saya, and it's Trevor playing a Syndra, so we'll just see whatever happens in that game. I hope Trevor and the others pull off, so it will be a longer series and not a sweep.
So let's go ahead and check out this interview coming in from Trevor.
Masaya ako sobra kasi di ko naman expect na ganun mangyari. Mapapatay ko siya ng 1v1 tapos pantay lang kami sa lane. Siguro dahil wala rin siyang gank doon kaya nakalamang din ako sa kanya. Ang kailangan i-improve ng TME yung communication namin tsaka early tsaka yung macro skills namin kasi iwan na iwan kami kanina sa GAM na nadurog kami dahil sa magandang rotation nila. Sa YG naman, natalo na kami doon 0-2. Mag-a-adjust na lang kami kung anong kailangan gawin para manalo kami sa kanila. Kailangan namin i-review yung laro nila kasi ang ganda ng laro nila, kakapanood ko lang. Sobrang linis, sobrang galing nila individually. Thank you sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa TME, kay Tito, kay Tita, thank you sa pagsuporta, kay boss, sa mga family ko, sa friends, sa girlfriend, yun lang. Thank you sa lahat.
And there you have it.
Trevor, the
ladies
lover
and
boy.
gentlemen. Live a lover boy. But yeah, we'll just have to see if all the love in the world coming in from the fans will be enough for Team Manila Eagles, or will the Vietnamese squad, young generation with a lot of love from their own home country, take it all the way to a 3-0 clean sweep against the Eagles.
And we can see that both teams start up with defensive starts, locking up their jungle entrances and exits to make sure that no invades or whatsoever will transpire in this early part of the game, wherein actually none of them are in advantage of each other, having not much CC in their arsenal in this early part of the game.
Yes, and I'm really interested in seeing how this top lane matchup will go. Although, interesting enough, Ren did go for a Gnar, so as long as Gnar is in mini form, does kind of match up with JLC in terms of the pokes, because he does have that range. But if ever it does transition into a Mega Gnar, then that's a different story
Oh
altogether.
no,
But
that's like
looks
the level 1 cheese.
now we're getting indeed a lot of level 1 cheese here, getting the twin fangs across the board, but a lot of cheese here happening towards the red side as well. And Pallet and Big Koro try to go for an invade, not too much success. Does get a bit of disruption though. And that is information as well on what Hoops' overall rotation will be within the next few minutes of this game.
Well, for that trade, Rakan just suffered a lot of damage and will burn off a lot of his sustain for the rest of the lane. So it might be a winning lane for TME as of now, but we can see that Venus actually grabs off the red buff with his smite and just walks away. I mean, in the first game, we could see that Venus had the same start, actually invading Coops early on of the game, early on of the part of the jungle. So I guess this is really part of Venus' gameplay to just invade the jungle after he reaches level 2.
Very, very classic. It looks like Venus in exchange gonna be transitioning towards his Raptors, and you know, just as that extra precaution as well to make sure that Coops might not check out that red, but this will be quite the delay for the jungler of Team Manila Eagles, and this is a situation that he technically kind of doesn't really perform under when he is under this level of duress that will lead to an eventual drought if that's the unfortunate scenario that Coops is in.
Yeah, true. And now we can look at the top lane matchup wherein Gnar opt to build that Doran's shield, knowing that Jace has stronger poke potential than him. And it's just a really smart start for Ren here to build that Doran's shield, knowing that he can't trade off with Jace when it comes to poking and actually early skirmishes. But then again, once he reaches level 6 and has that stun available for him, it's most likely going to be a win on his side. But let's see if the JLC mechanics shines this game. But as of now, we can see that the gold lead is a little bit in favor of YG, that 200, because that 300 gold lead rather, with the CS lead that comes from Cassiopeia in Big Koro.
Coops looking for opportunities here, but looks like that was a ping coming in from Young Generation. but I believe he was just taking the Rift Cutler, so wasn't really intending to actually get a gank on. But this is what we've been talking about here. The traditional Saya Rakan and JLC, while Ren kind of juking it out here. As well, Ren, good balance. They're not transitioning into that Mega Gnar.
Yeah. Again with the little advantages. I mentioned about that 300, 200 gold lead just because it's these small advantages that build up into these huge advantages for the team. And actually, watching the first and second games of YG versus TME, it always starts off as a little bit of advantage for YG, then it suddenly pops off into a really big advantage in favor of YG just because of a small macro mistake of TME. But then again, they never really had advantage in mechanical ability, but then again, this macro skill is just really crisp, and I guess Vietnam is just really the strongest region as of now in Southeast Asia. But a lot of damage coming for JLC. Maybe this will be the start of a possible reverse sweep for TME.
Yeah, but while JLC might be the savior here in this case, another worry that I'm concerned about is Koops. Again, I'm feeling the drought already. Venus, great rotation, was able to take a few camps off of Koops, and overall the level deficiency, it's already showing. So we're just going to have to see how Koops adapts to this, and whether or not we'll be seeing another instance wherein he'll ultimately just... I mean, ultimately, we probably not even feel him within the next few minutes of this game.
Yeah, and we always see Koops with that Sejuani going a supportive build. I mean, look at his items right now. It's Boots and the Smite with Wards. And as looking at Jarvan, he has two longswords, able to deal a lot of damage with his Flag and Drag combo. And we can see Venus invading Koops yet again, knowing that he has the damage advantage with red buff and two longswords.
Oh man, we're just have to see right here. Does get a stun. JLC might be joining this though. Does get the knockup. He might be in trouble actually instead of going for the response right here. Naol as well, very much within the vicinity. Ren now in Mega Gnar form. Venus goes for the flash. Not able to pursue though, but Naol might actually try something here. Actually goes for the flash. Tries to go for the stun, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't stun. That is going to be the kill. First blood going to Naol. Not done quite yet. Tries to chase Koops, but no. Trevor tries to go for the follow-up. A little bit too late for the party, though.
Great rotation there by the mid laner of YG and also the jungle of YG. Thought that Gnar at that moment just baited out JLC so good that he positioned himself wherein he had to flash out in order to survive. But then again, that Cassiopeia was just in the position to take his life, and it's first blood going to Cassiopeia, and you do not want a Cassiopeia to snowball in this game. And
ooh, gets the knockup onto Venus. Venus may have overstayed his welcome here as Trevor does get the kill. So this is good for Koops in a way. That kind of helps him get back on even footing here, as he was in a bit of a drought, but this will be the opportunity to kind of get back.
True, and at least it equalizes the gold somehow for the mid lane, giving one kill towards Trevor. But as of now, in the early levels, I really give the lane to Cassiopeia, having that Fang and Poison. But by level 6, I think if ever Trevor does cleanses out of that stun, he will win that trade, as long as there's no other people around. And as we can see, Venus has been proficient in ganking, so that may not happen if ever YG is... if ever YG knows that level 6 Syndra automatically wins that fight against Cassiopeia.
Indeed, and I like how Koops kind of playing it to Venus's own game, wherein he takes the blue buff away from Young Generation's own jungle here. So, but in exchange, it looks like Venus gonna make his way towards TME's own blue buff. So Ren, JLC gonna try to trade it off here. JLC notably kind of low on mana in a way, but actually continues to chase here. Will he try to get it? But no, actually misses. But still, JLC will have to back away from this as he is very low on mana. And Ren, this is an R that we're talking about, doesn't have to worry about that kind of scenario.
Yeah, every time he morphs into Mega Gnar, remember that bonus HP stays if ever he goes back to Mini Gnar again. So it's a form of sustain as well. And that melee Gnar, that Mega Gnar, actually gives him bonus stats. So when it comes to trading, I mean, Gnar should be able to match JLC's damage at the top lane, even if it is a chase.
Great try for something here. Big Koro and Pallet trying to catch Marky Rocks off. Not really
Gank though.
whatsoever, but here comes Koops though. Are we going to be seeing a potential. No, Big Toro actually still no glacial. Doesn't release though, but looks like they'll be balancing this out as Pallet does go down to Marky, getting the kill.
Great CC control there by Pallet at first, actually hitting 2 people with that charm, then a knock up towards Coops. But then again, that trap just sealed his fate and he couldn't dash back anymore to Saya. Even with that bonus range, if you step on that trap, you won't be going back to your girlfriend anytime soon.
Nope, couple goals not working there thus far, but still a good start for Team Manila Eagles. But Young Generation, they do have a great, they are known for this great comeback, leaning towards the mid game once we do hit the 15-minute mark onwards. So we'll just have to see if TME can kind of make the most of what they're good at, which is the laning phase.
True, and as of now, we can see that the first Drake is a Mountain Drake, and if ever TME, actually no, TME, if ever TME gets this Mountain Drake, their sieging potential will be a lot more proficient than it is already. And looking at the siege potential of YG though, I still think about if ever Gnar is a great sieging champion, but then again, if ever, you have to be mini Gnar, and if they engage at you on mini Gnar, if fight breaks out though in the mid lane, almost killing Naul, but then again, that slow from the Cassiopeia E just saves his life for that trade.
Coops actually joins Trevor here to try to get a bit of damage on this turret. A win in wave. Just come in, Rocks and Mark in the nick of time. This turret towards bot side as well for Team Manila Eagles. A little bit on the lower end of the spectrum, so we'll just have to see how this works out for them. Venus and Ren go for the response here to clear out that wave from pushing towards mid.
Looking at the item path of Marky, it looks like he's going to opt for the early Infinity Edge to amplify his headshot damage. And having that early Infinity Edge on that Caitlyn, if ever your headshot crits, that will be a golden opportunity for you to erase any carry who steps on your traps. I mean, headshot damage with critical is just really, I mean, it's just a really high damage auto attack. I mean, it's a basic auto attack, but then again, all of those crit chances and passive just amplifies that damage. And together with Syndra, it will deal a lot of damage towards the enemy carries, knowing that the YG's composition actually lacks a lot of protection, since if Recon decides to initiate with Gnar, there will be only the E for protection, and Recon's shield isn't that large.
Indeed, and from what we're seeing here, Recon Palette maybe going the Ardent. Oh wait, no.
No,
actually,
it's a Ruby Crystal.
Actually,
so
a Ruby Crystal that he's building.
he
So.
might be going for a Sightstone, early Sightstone first.
Yes, definitely.
And we can see that Lulu, that tome, that is it an Etherwisp?
Oh,
But also that
might be a good opportunity though. Unfortunately, doesn't hit point blank this glacial prison, but still they are on Ren's case. No way to get Meganar up, and that'll be the kill. But looks like more action happening here towards bot side. Rocks might be the next casualty here as Marky has to flee away. 3 members of Young Generation though has to be very careful. This may be the turret though. First turret of the game goes to Young Generation.
Another fight breaks out in the mid lane.
Trevor has to be careful here, taking a bit of poison. Naul continues the chase and ultimately gets the kill onto Trevor.
A great trade there by YG. We thought that TME already won that trade, ganking the top lane and then pushing the outer turret to the top lane. But then again, Venus had the macro ability to go at the bottom side of the map, then kill the bottom lane, get first turret, and then Cassiopeia just won that trade at the mid lane, also getting a kill out of Trevor, and now they're getting Mountain Drake for themselves. And you see, it just shines. The macro play of Vietnam right now is just so crisp that it responded to TME's own play and made their own play. They actually rotated to that play to the point that it became their own play.
Indeed, and that's the tricky part right here. Even with the successful proactivity coming in from Team Manila Eagles, Young Generation finds a way to not only trade off, but actually come off the better man in those trades. So Ran regardless, although the positive here is this will grant a little bit more maneuverability for JLC to try to make plays across this map here. We have seen that instance during the finals in the Philippines wherein he gets a little bit more flexibility. Like, let's say here, there
Yeah.
might be instances where he might go for split pushes or even 1v1s where he takes down the enemy. But we'll just have to see how that transitions though, because Young Generation has pretty respectable rotations as well as great trades, even when TME actually succeeds in their plays.
Yeah, and looking at the map pressure right now, having the top lane tower destroyed always opens up a lot of pressure for Rift Herald. If ever TME decides to push top lane, shove really hard at the wave at the top lane, they might go for the Rift Herald, and it'll mean more turrets for TME at that point of the game. But as of now, we can see YG. Oh, the flash drag and drag.
Actually gets Cataclysm and trapped in as Naul manages to secure the kill again. This is where things kind of start toppling for Team Eagles based on the previous games that we've seen, wherein Young Generation will start establishing a level of control that will start kind of limiting Team Eagles, kind of instilling a level of fear even as far as how much they could maneuver around this map.
Ooh, but here comes the one who actually dodges the ult.
And there we go, JLC acting a bit fast, but ultimately has no mana, and that is going to be the rampage for Naul right there. 4-0. Wow.
4-0 in that Cassiopeia, and now we can see that Cassiopeia snowballed from that one kill earlier that she got, and now that Naul has this abyssal mass, actually deals more damage and protection for her as well. And now Syndra can't burst her down with one combo, and while Cassiopeia being a battle mage against a burst mage, if a battle mage does get a edge against a burst mage, it will be a dominated lane against that burst mage.
I feel like I'm watching a repeat of Game 1 again. Young Generation just pushing across the board. Let's see if Team Eagles can make something of this go. JLC goes for the teleport, gets a significant damage onto Pallet. Coops as well, gonna be joining the party. Looks like the Glacial Prison not quite hitting though, but this might be enough. Though more members of Young Generation join in as Naul is there as well. Coops getting the kill onto Big Koro, but Naul, they have to be careful. He's dealing tons and tons of damage. Actually continues the chase here. Team Eagles might be going down in this case. Yet another kill goes under the belt of Naul. Continues the chase right here. Looks like Rock's going to be the next casualty along with Marky. Triple kill for Naul. Young Generation coming up on top there in a 1-for-4.
It looks like we're going to be riding a steamrolling train of Naul here, 7-0 on that Cassiopeia. And as of now, at this point of this game, he hasn't even completed his Seraph's Embrace yet. And now we can see a replay of Naul's triple kill here. He actually comes from the backside, wherein Coops fails to engage on that Saya, and that great charm from Pallet as well actually seals the deal for the win of Naul on this side of the map. That flank just really just efficient, that positioning from Naul, and he's actually saved his ultimate for the tower dive. And look at Marky just facing that stun and just ultimately dying from that fight.
Indeed, so there we go.
Just a really great positioning from Naul there.
Man, I'm not even looking at a choo-choo train here coming in from him. I'm looking like a full-speed bullet train that I'm not even sure Team Eagles will be able to even stop right now. 7-0 on this Cassiopeia. Absolutely insane. Nobody on Team Eagles coming close. Probably the only concession here is JLC is up on a little bit of CS, but no, that looks like...
Yeah, but he's 1-3-1.
Naul actually gonna overpass me.
And now Naul, if ever he decides to build an Aurelize, nobody can actually escape him. I mean, we have a Lulu with a speed boost that will be neutralized by the Aurelize, and Caitlyn with one dash. And if ever he uses E, remember, if Caitlyn uses E, he's facing front of Cassiopeia. The moment he presses that E, it's just 1 R away from his death. And he isn't even building towards a Quicksilver stack as well.
Oh man, and here we go. This is just another scenario that we're seeing here, very reminiscent of the previous games. Team Eagles limited to their turrets right now, can't even maneuver across this map because of the heavy threat that the rest of Young Generation poses right now, especially the Serpent just kind of roaming around the map.
The Serpent with a 10-stack Dark Seal.
I'm pretty sure there's some type of like myth or something that could tie into this. JLC
Actually,
taken down by Ren. Not even needing Ragnar for him.
That's the beauty of Frozen Mallet, actually. If you have this advantage against your enemy,
Indeed, but looks like I'll have to hold you off right there as we do see a fight though. Rocks might actually go down, but no, Coops will be the sacrifice here as Young Generation continues to push hard. This Ref Herald is still looking very, very healthy. Marky might have to back away from this as he is very low. Could easily be taken down by Young Generation here. Only 19 minutes on the clock. This inhibitor is going down very, very fast, and no sign of this Rift Cutler, or rather Rift Herald, stopping. I mean, that was quite the value they got out of that Rift Herald push.
Yeah, and the next Infernal Drake is up right now. Now they could, what YG could do right now is just establish the vision they already have, re-establish the vision they already have on their blue side of TME, and get the Dragon, then might even opt for the Baron. They could actually do anything that they want right now, given that Cassiopeia won't be picked off. But then again, even if you try to pick off Cassiopeia, you would need 3 to 4 people, the TME squad, to kill Cassiopeia. Here is the replay of what happened in the bot lane. Great charm there by Pallet, actually hitting 2 people. And a follow-up from Jarvan as well. We could note that Marky here is zoned out, immediately out of the fight, and leaving Coops to die alone. I mean, it is the only play that Marky could do anymore, since if he was a little bit closer from that fight, he could have died, and that would have mean another turret for YG. And if it was a Nexus turret, it'll be a harder time defending that Nexus.
Indeed. There we go. Young Generation just getting the push out on these lanes here. Again, very, very classic of what happened earlier. So we actually have a configuration towards top as well as mid. Rocks goes down. Now, Marky might be taking down Marky Nexus. Actually, now legendary 9-0. Ghost might have to back away from this, but Naul definitely smells his prey here. Trevor might be the next here. Tries to take down Venus though, but Naul just in time though. That will be one member of Young Generation down, but that is not slowing them down. JLC tries to get it onto Naul. Manages to get vengeance as he gets the shutdown, but he will be the sacrifice instead, as that is yet another ace onto Team Eagles by Young Generation.
I mean, the combo right now for YG would be Ren's Frozen Mallet slow. Plus, I mean, I talked about Cassiopeia building Relies. Well, she doesn't need to. She has that bonus movement speed now whenever she hits that Fang and slow from that Miasma. And now it's just steamrolling YG, about to win this game and eliminating TME. And look, I mean, Nar right now has Frozen Mallet. If he hits Q on someone, auto attack, Cassiopeia finishes it off. If ever they don't finish it off, Mega Nar will be up, stun them all, finish them off again. I mean, in this part of the game, there's no way that TME will win a team fight. They have to pick their fights wherein it'll be a 2v3, a 2v4, but as of now, YG won't allow those fights to happen. Nope. A 2v4 won't happen. They'll group up, push this lane, push it to the end, go back, regroup, get an objective. I mean, it's all about having this team game for YG, knowing that they can't risk a 2v4. Even if they can, they won't risk it anymore just because it's an assured win already. As long as they don't die.
Exactly. It's almost a miracle that's needed in a way. But regardless, I gotta say that with all said and done, Team LA Eagles, even if they may fall off this game, leading to a 3-0 clean sweep, you gotta give your commendations to them because they had a fantastic showing during the group stage. And even as a neophyte team straight into the GPL, they've still shown that they could perform on a Southeast Asian level. Still probably not up to par with Worlds just yet, but the promise is definitely there, and so goes with the other countries that are in the GPL.
Yeah, true. And looking at the TME right now, having that undefeated streak in our local scene, TME is actually the best that we've gotten over the past few years.
I agree.
And if ever TME's run right now, it'll inspire the other teams to actually do better. And through the years, I predict that Southeast Asia region as of now will just evolve and continually grow. I just hope so. And looking at Vietnam, doing a lot of work in the international scene.
Definitely.
I mean, Vietnam sets an example to Southeast Asia to follow. And if there's an example to follow, it'll be an easier step for other countries to follow as well.
It's very reminiscent of Taipei Assassins back when they were in the GPL themselves.
Season 2?
That was like
won.
season 2.
They won actually.
And like they were on a whole different level in comparison to all the other GPL teams that they needed to be separated because they were that good. But nonetheless, you know, I think Vietnam kind of in the same scenario now. They're just really emerging as a great country right now. We'll just have to see. Definitely deserving of the 2 seeds in the GPL right now, but we'll just have to see right now as this may be Team Manila Eagles' last stand to save their nexus here as Young Generation goes for the offensive palette. Might actually try to start something here, but no, they're just patiently waiting their time in order to push out this top turret to seal the deal with all 3 inhibitors down. Big Coral trying to get the push on here, but looks like Team Manila Eagles have to hold off from any initiate that might happen. Naul actually gets a great stun onto 2 members of Team Manila Eagles. JLC goes down. That's going to be a lot of damage lost from Team Manila Eagles side. Double kill going into Naul. Are we going to see the triple? No. They will be going for this inhibitor first. They will taking this systematically. Unfortunately, no knockups happening for Palette right there, but it doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, TME, 3 members trying to defend this. They do get Ren in the process, but nonetheless, looks like this will be the end for Team Manila Eagles as Young Generation proceeds to the next stage. Congratulations to Team Vietnam.
Yeah, and going back to that game, Vietnam just really had this great snowball for Naul, ultimately leading to the game. Actually, that's 7 kills towards Naul. 3 of those are actually solo kills for Naul, then the rest are given through rotations, and that just shows that if you have great macro skills paired with your great micro skills, you will lead your team to victory.
Indeed.
And so props to Naul.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, to get into the international stage, it has to be like a full 360 of needing to possess every single asset that you can, whether it be mechanics, macro play, micro play, just general control, communication. As Team Manila Eagles did mention, they did say that they were kind of struggling a bit with that as well. But looking at the bracket here right now, clean 3-0 for Young Generation, so they will be heading into the losers bracket for tomorrow to vie for that 2nd seed, and will be going up against the loser in what will be the next match actually between Gigabyte Marines and Ascension Gaming. So definitely something to look forward to.
Exciting matchup.
But nonetheless, of course, kudos still to Team Manila Eagles. Their journey ends here to have potentially made it to Worlds. But nonetheless, I'd still honestly say that they did us proud regardless. They had a fantastic run in the group stage. So I think they could still put their head held up high because there's a lot more potential that could be worked on right there.
Congratulations to Vietnam, though.
Indeed, yeah, Young Generation really showing a lot of promise here. And I'm looking forward to seeing if they could actually take that 2nd seed because Vietnam really emerging as a great region right now. But ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our first matchup for today for the losers bracket. We have been your casters, Arctic at your service, fam, and of course with me is Wami. But stay tuned because when we come back, it is going to be the best of 5 between Ascension Gaming and Gigabyte Marines for that 1st seed at Worlds. Let's see who are first, as us Filipinos would say, pambato, meaning our bet for Worlds.
Predicting 2 Vietnamese teams inside.
Maybe. We'll just see. So once again, this has been the Garena Premier League 2017 summer season. We'll be right back.